Alrighty, what's up, everybody? I am back. Just gonna get things set up here, and we'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's for all the Jews out there. Hope everyone's Passover went well. Hope everyone's day is going well. Okay. Set this up.
Price.
Oh boy. Okay. It's good. It's good. It's good. All right, let's begin. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's episode of Benny and Ruth podcast. On this week's episode, we've got MLB recap between this past few days and from opening day and on, and also from the games I've gone to. NBA playoffs update and more all coming up. Let's get right into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 73 of Benny in the Booth podcast. Thank you so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. Welcome back. First episode in a few weeks. If you were not aware, I actually did post a vlog from one of the 3 games I had gone to since the last episode of the podcast. You can check it out on the channel. It is a very short vlog. One thing I actually do want to mention about that vlog, I was wanting to do more for it, but the thing is that I went to 2 Guardians games. Guardians Mariners on Sunday, which was the crazy extra inning affair. We'll get into that. And then Guardians Yankees. So the one I did get to vlog was Guardians Yankees. The one I didn't get to vlog, but wanted to vlog, was Guardians Mariners. And here's the thing. If I wasn't going with as many people as I went with for that Guardians Mariners game, which I'll show you how many people I went with, I would not have minded vlogging. But when I'm going with it, I don't know if it's not focusing, but when I'm going with that many people, and pretty much mostly everyone was in the car with me going to the game, and like we had to take a whole van and then some just to get there, I knew there was no way I'm getting a vlog, so I was not able to vlog the Mariners Guardians game. But I did at least try get the Guardians Yankees as much as I can to at least put out something, and I have it out. It's like a 3-minute, 24-second vlog or something like that. Short, but it is something. Go check it out on the channel. I do not have it on audio because it's just a video, really, and there's no point in putting it on audio if you can't really see the moments I've put in there. But yeah. So let's get right into it. First, I want to get into the games that I was personally at from baseball. So, my first game was Yankees-Giants in New York on first Sunday of baseball season, Sunday, April 2nd. So what happened? So I want to first talk about the pitch clock. So obviously, if you don't remember, new thing with this year is that there's a pitch clock that if the batter's not set by 8 seconds, looking at the pitcher, both feet in the batter's box, automatic strike. If the pitcher doesn't deal the pitch or on the way of dealing the pitch by 0 seconds, automatic ball. The first game I went to, the Giants-Yankees, there were no pitch clock violations, and to be honest, I didn't even feel the pitch clock being effective until after the game, which the Yankees won 6-0. When I saw what time the game ended, I was like, whoa, yeah, this actually does have an effect. Because it was like under a 3-hour game. But the other two, and I'll get to those in a moment, those I did feel the effects of the pitch clock. But the Yankees-Giants game, Johnny Brito, who was making his major league debut, pitched phenomenal, pitched 5 shutout innings, keeping the Giants' bats to minimal damage, did a great job. And the Yankees were just jumped on the Giants pretty quickly. Judge 2-run homer got the scoring started that at first didn't even look like a home run, and then it got out, and it was like, oh, okay, here we go. And then Stanton rocketed one to deep center. Like, I think it was like one of his farthest in as a Yankee and one of his farthest in his career or something. Kyle Gashioka added a home run later, make it 4-0. And then sac fly and wild pitch made it 6-0. And then the Yankees were able to shut the door from there on out to win 6-0 over the Giants. So that was the first game I went to. Then the second game I went to was Mariners Guardians. And this one I definitely felt pitch clock, especially because there were 2 violations in this game, one on each team. Seattle had one on A.J. Pollock, and then Cleveland had one on James Karinchak, fittingly, who's had a bunch of violations already in this current season. But this game was crazy. It was action right away. First inning, Cal Raleigh had a 2-run homer to give the Mariners a 2-0 lead. And then bottom of the first, Stephen Kwan hit what was ruled a triple, but to be brutally honest, should not have been ruled a triple. It should have been a single or double and an error because A.J. Pollock botched it enough to be an error and not a triple. But I'm not the official scorecard of the game. I can't really change it. But if it was truly up to me, I would have changed I would have changed it to, I would have ruled it an error and not a single or not a triple. Sorry. I am botching some words today. Sorry about that. And then nothing happened between the second and eighth inning. But what was most interesting was Seattle decided to play an interesting move by bringing out their closer for the 8th, which was just like, wait, what? Like, already? And it was just kind of like surprising out of the blue, but and it worked for the 8th, but in the 9th, Seattle, first of all, would get a run back, get another run in the 9th, taking advantage of poor defensive play. Trying to, I think, turn double play. They got botched and went in the outfield instead. Bottom of the ninth, though, Teoscar Hernandez, who's DHing the entire game, and for context, is a pretty bad fielder in general, was moved from DH to the outfield. And they decided to bring him in, which got rid of the DH spot, because if you're replacing the DH and moving him out, you're basically putting the pitcher spot back in, which pitcher never ended up hitting, FYI, spoiler. And you want to know how badly that bit Seattle in the Tuchus, aside from the fact that they did not use their closer for the ninth and had someone else in the ninth? 2 on, 2 out, Will Brennan, who's like not a big known MLB player prior to that game, I guess you could say, hit a game-tying 2-run double over the head of Teoscar Hernandez, a ball that Teoscar could have even had, tie game at 2-2 or 3-3. And Teoscar, I believe, was replacing AJ Pollock, who Kelenic moved over, I think, to left, or I don't know, I forget who it was. But either way, so it went to extra innings as the Guardians were not able to walk it off in the ninth. 10th inning, no one does scores. 11th inning, Seattle gets a go-ahead RBI double from Jared Kelenic, who would score on a sac fly. So 5-3, you think, okay, game over, pack your bags. Nope, Cleveland came back with a couple of ribby hits to tie the game again, and we were going to the 12th inning. So I was basically there for like 2 full baseball games in one day. And then in the 12th, Mariners took the lead again, 1-run lead. And then to start the bottom of the 12th, and this is where things really got weird and suspicious, they intentionally walked Jose Ramirez to the lead off the inning. And with the ghost runner in second, that means they already had to deal with first and second. Now, yes, that does set up a double play, but in context of what ended up happening, I don't know what Scott Service was doing. I just don't know. And if you want to know what I mean by in the context of what ended up happening, pickoff attempt failure to move it to second and third, a RBI ground out, and a chopper to Colton along second base that Jose Ramirez was able to beat the throw at home, won the game for the Cleveland Guardians with Josh Bell delivering the walk-off RBI single chopper, which he needed because he had been struggling and still been up and down for Cleveland so far. Won the game for Cleveland 7-6, but that was a crazy game. I will also say a funny thing from that game. I'm going to throw this in. I'm going to leave it out. But either way, that was just a crazy game. And then I was back the next night for my third game, which was Yankees-Guardians, which also had a pitch clock violation in James Karinchak. So literally between the first game and the second and third game I've went to this year, 3 violations to no violations. Just kind of funny. Yankees struck immediately, which, by the way, if you notice in the vlog, the first pitch I kind of like went off for a moment because it literally was like first pitch leadoff double. And it's like, okay, here we go. Yankees are in business. Stan will later take advantage with a 2-run double that put the Yankees on top with nobody out. They put up a rally at the first without anybody even getting out. Cleveland ended up coming back to tie it, capped off by a Mike Zunino RBI double. And then they would take the lead thanks to a Josh Naylor sac fly. James Karinchak, though, immediately in the top of the 8th ran into trouble because for some reason Miles Straw decided to dive for a ball. Ended up getting way past it and put the tying run immediately at third base to lead off the inning. About a weak pop-up from Judge and strikeouts from Rizzo and Stanton left the runner stranded. Class A came in and shut the door, and the Guardians won 3-2. But I still was like, why did Miles Straw dive for that? Like, why? Stand up and just let it bloop in front of you, and okay, it's just a single. Still a manageable situation. But no, I have to dive for it, apparently. And he dove for it, and it led to a triple. I mean, he's lucky that Karinchak was able to get out of the jam because otherwise he probably would have been criticized for that all day long. Or I guess night in that case because it was a night game. But either way, those are the 3 games I went to. And my view from new rules perspective from the 3 games I went to. Pitch clock only effective the second two games. The second and third game I went to, bigger bases were effective in all the games, or especially the Cleveland ones, because there were definitely some stolen bases in Cleveland, in the games in Cleveland game I went to. And yeah, so that's from the games I personally went to. And from before I started actually taking notes of games, there are a few games I wrote down. There are probably others I could have mentioned, but here's the ones I specifically wrote down. From May 11th, Andrew Heaney struck out 9 straight, 10 overall in the game against Kansas City in a 12-11-2 win. The Cubs came back from same day, well, except it was night game. The Cubs came back from down 7-0 to beat the Seattle Mariners 14-9, which this reminded me of thing, because also I was in Cleveland at the time when this game happened, of the Cubs 6-0 comeback against Seattle in 2016. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you can find it on YouTube. It's July 31st, 2016. I still remember it. Sunday Night Baseball. The Cubs were called up a pitcher who was like a veteran at that point, who gave up 3 2-run home runs in the first 3 innings. Put the Cubs behind 6-0. They luckily came back and won. It was a crazy game. And then from the April 12th, Luis Arias hit the first ever cycle in Marlins history. Double, triple, home run, and single in that order, and a Marlins 8-4 win over the Phillies. So that's from before I officially started taking notes from consecutive days. Now from when I had started officially taking notes of consecutive days, starting from April 14th. Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki, who both hit solo home runs, and it was Seiya Suzuki's first game back of the season, had back-to-back home runs in the 8th. Yan Gomes, of all people, had a 2-homer game, both solo home runs, one in the 5th and one in the 9th, to help the Cubs beat the Dodgers in the opener 8-2. New York Mets got the same amount of runs, 17, as they got walked in a 17-6 win over the Oakland A's. They had 6-run second and a 6-run fifth, and Lindor had 7 RBIs between a grand slam and a bases clearing 3-run double. 5-run fourth helped the Marlins beat the Diamondbacks 5-1. Bo Bichette 5 for 5, a 2-run double, a run, 500th hit, which was the 2-run double. Second fewest game at 407 behind Paul Molitor at 399 Toronto Blue Jays history to get to that number, as the Blue Jays beat the Rays to end their 13-game winning streak 4-3. Josh Lowe and Christian Bencourt went back-to-back, both with solo home runs in the 7th to keep Tampa alive, but it was nowhere near enough as they lost that game. Bryson Stott got a hit to continue a 14-game hit streak, which is 4th all-time in Phillies history, in the 4th inning in an 8-3 win versus Cincinnati Reds. It did continue at least through Sunday. Let's see. Has he gotten a hit today? Because Philly actually has a doubleheader today, and one of them's playing at right now at the current moment. Let's see. Stott does not have a hit at the moment, but it actually went further. I'll get to how far it went going into today in a moment. But anyways, Adley Rutschman, go-ahead 3-run double led Orioles to come back win from down 3-0 over the Chicago White Sox. Anthony Volpe on Friday had his first career solo home run in the first and 4-3 lost to the Twins. Immediately followed next batter by Judge solo home run. Finally, they went back-to-back. But Carlos Correa's game-tying solo home run in the 6th marks his 4th homer in 4 straight games at Yankee Stadium, and 6-game hit streak, which sadly for him both ended on the next day. Also had a go-ahead 2-run double in the 8th. Matt Olson, 2-run homer, and Austin Riley solo home run, and career homer number 100 went back-to-back. 3 batters and 11 pitches into the game in a 10-3 Braves win over the Royals. Braves also had 5 home runs overall. Olson, Riley, Sam Hilliard had a solo, Sean Murphy had a solo, and Ronald Acuna had a 2-run homer. And then Rowdy Tellez had a 2-homer game, a solo home run in the 5th, and a 3-run homer in the 6th, and the Brewers 11-2 win over the San Diego Padres. One moment. Sorry about that. Says from Friday. From Saturday, capped off by a Mickey walk-off RBI single in the 11th, the Tigers came back from down 6-1 to beat the Giants 7-6. Jake Cronenworth had a 2-homer game, go-ahead 2-run homer in the 5th and 2-run homer in the 7th, leading San Diego to a 10-3 win over Milwaukee. Yu Chang, shortstop for the Boston Red Sox, who was a part of Team Chinese Taipei in the WBC, had a 2-run homer, a 2-run single, and scored a run, leading Boston to beat the Angels 9-7. Will Myers had a 2-homer game, a solo home run in the 2nd, and a 3-run homer in the 3rd, leading the Reds to beat Philly 13-0. Sean Murphy, catcher for the Braves, former Oakland A's catcher, had 2 RBI doubles, a solo home run, an RBI walk, a hit by pitch, and scored twice, leading the Braves past the Royals 9-3. 5-run 7th following 7 shutout innings from Zach Brown leads Houston to blow out Texas Rangers 8-2. 5-run 4th leads Seattle over Colorado 9-2. Mark Canha hits game-tying solo home run in the 7th, and Mets 3-2 win versus Oakland. That was his first home run back in Oakland since he left. And Logan O'Hoppe had 3 catcher's interferences in one game, 2 in the 8th inning, 1 in the 2nd, in a 9-7 loss to the Boston Red Sox. That is from Saturday. From Sunday, Patrick Wisdom solo home run and Cody Bellinger solo home run, and first back in Dodger Stadium since he left the Dodgers, went back-to-back to lead the Cubs to a win over the Dodgers 3-2. Garrett Cole, complete game shutout, 2 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, no earned runs, lead the Yankees to a win over the Twins 2-0. DJ LeMahieu, RBI double in the 3rd and solo home run in the 6th were the only runs for the Yankees in the game, and flat out. A 9-run first by Philly leads to win over the Reds 14-3. Bryson Stott leadoff home run on the first pitch marks 16-game hit streak, tied for 3rd. That's what it goes into going into today, because I don't think they played yesterday. Luis Castillo, they didn't play yesterday, sorry, because it got postponed. Luis Castillo comes 9 outs short of a perfect game, but still goes 7 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, 9 strikeouts, leads Seattle to over Colorado 1-0. Jared Kelenic had the only run, producing an RBI single in the 6th inning. 6-run 7th leads Texas over Houston 9-1, and Pete Alonso's game-tying solo home run in the 9th matches Jeff Kent from 1994's for most homers in the first 16 games of the season at 8, and a Mets 4-3 win over the Oakland A's in 10 innings. And then from yesterday, Patrick Wisdom had a 2-homer game-tying solo home run, which marked homering in 4 straight games, which is tied for the longest in his career, and in the 2nd, and a 3-run homer in the 8th. And Bellinger had a 5-hit game, first 4 hits since 2019, and first 5-hit ever, leading to a Cubs blowout win over the Oakland A's 10-1. 5-run 7th helps Arizona beat the Cardinals 6-3. 7-run first helps Houston beat Toronto 9-2. Corey Julks 2-run double, solo home and a solo home run, and Jake Myers 3-run homer, big parts of the Astros win. 6-run 2nd helps the Pirates beat the Rockies 14-3. Despite 8-1 loss to the Reds, the Rays with Josh Lowe's solo home run in the 9th makes it that they have homered in every game this season so far, and Freddie Freeman 2-homer game, solo home run in the 1st, and game-tying 2-run homer in the 5th in a Dodgers loss to the Mets. That is all. That is the weekly recap. Now for the standings update to this point. Rays in first place in the AL East at the current moment at 14-3. At 1 point, of course, on the 13-game winning streak, ended on a 1-game losing streak. Followed by the Yankees at 10-6 on a 2-game win streak. Followed by the Blue Jays at 10-7 on a 2-game losing streak. Followed by the Orioles at 9-7 on a 1-game win streak. Followed by the Red Sox at 8-9 on a 1-game losing streak. That for the AL Central. Twins in first place at 10-6 on a 2-game losing streak. Followed by the Guardians at 9-7 on a 1-game losing streak. Followed by the White Sox at 6-10 on a 1-game losing streak. Followed by the Tigers at 5-9 on a 3-game win streak. Followed by the Royals at 4-13 on a 4-game losing streak. For the AL West, the Rangers in first place at 9-6 on a 2-game winning streak, followed by the Angels at 8-8 on a 1-game win streak, followed by 8-9 Astros and 8-9 Mariners. Astros on a 1-game win streak, Mariners on a 1-game losing streak, followed by the Oakland A's at 3-14 on a 5-game losing streak. That is for the AL West and the AL. For the NL, starting with the NL East, Braves in first place at 13-4 on a 7-game win streak, followed by the Mets at 11-6 on a 5-game win streak, followed by the 9-8 Marlins on a 1-game win streak, followed by the 6-10 Phillies on a 1-game win streak, followed by the 5-11 Nationals on a 1-game win streak. For the NL Central, the Brewers in first place at 12-5 on a 2-game win streak, followed by the Cubs at 9-6 on a 2-game win streak, followed by the Pirates at 10-7 on a 1-game win streak, followed by the 7-9 Reds on a 1-game win streak, followed by the 7-10 Cardinals on a 1-game losing streak. And then for the NL West, Diamondbacks in first place at 10-7 on a 2-game win streak, followed by the Dodgers at 8-9 on a 2-game losing streak, followed by the Padres at 8-10 on a 2-game losing streak, followed by the Giants at 5-10 on a 4-game losing streak, followed by the Rockies in fifth at 5-12 on a 6-game losing streak. Some crazy teams off to pretty good starts, and some teams off to terrible starts that weren't expected. And a lot of players actually doing well. Bellinger's been pretty good for the Cubs so far. Dansby's been very good for the Cubs. Xander, I think, has been seeming to be pretty good this so far for Tampa. And yeah. So as for today's games, there's a game that's final, and then there's some games that are currently going on. The 1-game finals that the Guardians beat the Tigers Tigers beat the Guardians 4-3 on a walk-off by I forget who hit the walk-off. But they're in their second game currently. Okay, bottom four, still 0-0 at the moment. 1 on, 1 out for the Tigers. Peyton Battenfield, who started for Cleveland, facing Kerry Carpenter. And then Philly facing the Chicago White Sox, one of 2 games at the current moment that they play today. They're up 5-0 in the bottom of the third. Zach Wheeler, who started for them on the mound currently, but is on a 2-on, nobody out situation. Stott still without a hit so far, by the way, so streak closer to possibly being over. But then they have game 2 tonight. No official time for that yet. But that will be between Bailey Falter and Lucas Giolito. Sorry about that. Rest of the schedule tonight. Rays at Reds at 6:40. Taj Bradley pitching for Tampa. Nick Lodolo pitching for the Reds. Giants at Marlins at 6:40. Alex Wood pitching for San Francisco. Edward Cabrera pitching for Miami. Orioles at Nationals at 7:05. Dean Kramer pitching for Baltimore. Josiah Gray pitching for the Nationals. Angels at Yankees at 7:05. Jose Suarez pitching for the Angels. Clark Schmidt pitching for the Yankees. Twins at Red Sox at 7:10. Sonny Gray pitching for Minnesota. Chris Sale pitching for the Red Sox. Rangers at Royals at 7:40. Nathan Eovaldi pitching for Texas. Brad Keller pitching for Kansas City. Diamondbacks at Cardinals at 7:45. Dre Jameson pitching for Arizona. Jordan Montgomery pitching for St. Louis. By the way, on the topic of Arizona, what's it called? Jacob Steinmetz, the Jew that pitched in the WBC this year, got called up to Single A and actually made a Single A debut today and actually pitched pretty good for minor league start in first Single A game. Went 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, and 1 run. Pretty good for him, and hopefully he keeps doing well. And hopefully one day he makes major leagues. We'll see what happens, though. Anyways, back on topic. Blue Jays at Astros at 8:10. Chris Bassett pitching for Toronto. Jose Urquidy pitching for Houston. Pirates at Rockies at 8:40. Vince Velasquez pitching for the Pirates. Jose Urena pitching for the Rockies. Cubs at Athletics at 9:40. Marcus Stroman pitching for the Cubs. Ken Waldichuk pitching for Oakland. Braves at Padres at 9:40. Spencer Strider pitching for Atlanta. Blake Snell pitching for San Diego. Brewers at Mariners at 9:40. Spencer Strider pitching for Atlanta. Blake Snell pitching for San Diego. Logan Gilbert pitching for Seattle. I was referring to Atlanta, San Diego. Whatever. Anyways, and then Mets at Dodgers at 10:10. Tyler McGill starting for the Mets. Clayton Kershaw starting for the Dodgers. That is MLB today's schedule and MLB part of the recap. And now we're going to be diving back into NBA, but for playoffs. Starting from the play-in games and into the first round games going into tonight's games. So, play-in games. The matchups were Atlanta and Miami. Atlanta being the 8th, Miami being the 7th. And Toronto being 9, Chicago being 10. The Hawks beat Miami 116-105. 4 reserves for the Atlanta Hawks: Sadiq Bey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Onyeka Okongwu, and Jalen Johnson combined for 53 points in the win. Bulls beat the Raptors 109-105. Dyer DeRozan, daughter of DeMar DeRozan, was yelling during the game and almost didn't even go to the game. Actually caused Raptors to miss 36 shots, which was crucial because the Bulls came all the way back from down 66-47 to win. And then, so that put Atlanta as the 7th seed and set up Bulls Heat for the 8, which Miami won 102-91. Max Strus and Jimmy Butler combined for 62 points, 31 from each of them to help Miami eliminate the Bulls. They also had a 12-1 run late in the fourth quarter that helped them seal the win. So that was the East part of the play-in games. From the West, the matchups were Lakers as the 7 versus the Timberwolves as the 8, and then Pelicans as the 9 and Thunder as the 10. The Lakers beat the Timberwolves 108-102 to lock up as the 7th seed in overtime. Minnesota was without Rudy Gobert for suspension for punching teammate on the bench in the last few games of the season. Thunder beat the Pelicans 123-118. AJ McCollum late turnover. It wasn't McCollum, actually. It was someone else on the Pelicans. I forget who it was. Sealed Thunder win and eliminated the Pelicans. And then the Timberwolves beat the Thunder for the 8th spot, 120-95 after missing the Laker game because of suspension for punching on the bench. In the season finale, Rudy Gobert put up 21 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists to lead Minnesota Timberwolves over the OKC Thunder. So that is from the play-in game recap. For the quarterfinals, or first round, the Philadelphia 76ers took games 1 and game 2. They took game 1, 121-101, behind 21 3-pointers by the team, and then they won game 2, 96-84. Tyrese Maxey, 33 points, helped them win, and they're up 2-0. Atlanta Hawks and Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics took game 1, 112-99. By the way, Philly's 3, Brooklyn is the 6, Boston's 2, Atlanta is the 7, of course, to take game 1 over Atlanta. Cavs and Knicks. Cavs are the 4, Knicks are the 5. Knicks won 101-97 to take a game-to-none lead. Julius Randle, coming off ankle injury, put up 19 and helped Knicks hold Knicks hold down Donovan Mitchell only to 38 points. Milwaukee the 1, Miami the 8. Miami actually took game 1, 130-117 to take a game-to-none series lead over Milwaukee. Tyler Hero did get injured, though, and will be out up to 6 weeks with broken hand. Giannis is hurt, but should be back for game 2. Milwaukee only had 1 lead the entire game at 4-2, but otherwise it was all Miami taking advantage of Giannis going down and being able to handle, even with losing Tyler Hero, to take game 1. One thing I just have to fix here. Hold on, give me a minute. That is for the East games up until today's games. Just give me one moment, and then I'll go back to MLB, NBA. Okay, and then for the West, the Sacramento Kings are a 3. I'll just go in order for this one. 1 seed is Denver Nuggets. The 2 seed is the Memphis Grizzlies. 3 seed is Sacramento Kings. 4 seed is the Phoenix Suns. The 5 seed is the Los Angeles Clippers. 6 seed is the Golden State Warriors. 7 seed is the Lakers. 8 seed is the Minnesota Timberwolves. For Sacramento and Golden State, Sacramento's up 2-0, surprisingly. I thought Sacramento Warriors would win the series. They took game 1, 126-123 behind De'Aaron Fox, 38 points, to Sacramento's first playoff win since April 30th of 2006. Also, Curry and Wiggins missed crucial shots in the end that sealed their fate. And then they won game 2, 114-106. The only thing I'm just going to say about this game is Draymond Green has basically become the worst person in Sacramento's history, or most hated, I guess, probably. But after stepping on Sabonis' chest, the whole weird story with it. Warriors are now down 0-2 for the first time since 2007. And then with Grizzlies, Lakers took game 1, 128-122. Ja Morant went down with injury. Roy Hachimura and Austin put up 29, and Austin Reeves 23 helped the Lakers take Game 1. Clippers beat the Suns 115-110 to take a game-to-none series lead. Even with stinker from Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard's 38 helped the Clippers take Game 1. Nuggets took Game 1 over Minnesota 109-80 to take a game-to-none series lead, and that's it. And then tonight's schedule is going to be Celtics hosting the Hawks for Game 2 on 7 o'clock on NBA TV. Celtics lead the game-to-none. Cavs hosting the Knicks at 7:30 on TNT. Knicks are up a game-to-none in the series. And then Suns hosting the Clippers at 10 on TNT. Clippers are up a game-to-none. That's it for NBA playoffs update. And that's it for this week's episode of the podcast. So let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Benny in the Booth podcast. On next week's episode, we'll have the MLB Weekly Recap. We'll have the NBA Playoffs update and anything more that could happen between now and then. Oh, yeah, and Hurts got a big extension with the Eagles. Thank you. Oh, and the Browns actually have changed their stadium name back to Cleveland Browns Stadium, which was what it was originally when they first brought it back. No longer be First Energy Stadium. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you are new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a notification box so notify when I go live and or post a video. If you're new on audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, and leave a notification box so notify when I post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I'll see you next week's episode for episode 74. Bye-bye.